is Hellbilly with Rockstars Glued Radio, and I'm talking to the guitarist John from the band Sevendust. How you doing today?
I'm doing good. How are you, man?
I'm doing awesome. Doing great. Now, y'all been on the road for a little while, haven't you, for the past few weeks already?
Yeah, we're in the second week right now. We started back on the 15th, March 15th. We did a short run, back up early at the beginning of the year. We went out for like 3 weeks in January, and we just fired it back up, in the middle of March. So this is officially okay. We're on the record, so time to get going. So we're gonna be busy for a while. It's good though. Yeah.
Right. That's awesome. Where's y'all's next stop with this tour anyway, and where will it be going from after the next stop?
We're in Tempe tonight. Good to be here. We just came from a whole little press run that we had going on in LA, and then we actually, ironically enough, we head back to LA. We went down to sort of San Diego last night. We're in Tempe tonight, and then we do the show in LA, and then we head up the coast. I think we hit San Francisco and Sacramento before we start heading back towards the Midwest. So it's nice to be out here on the West Coast for a change. We haven't been here in a while.
Oh, cool. That's cool. So I noticed, too, that y'all be stopping at Rock on the Range in Columbus, Ohio this year. That must be awesome, huh?
Yes. Oh, yeah. I always love doing that show. Such a cool show for us.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because I noticed that y'all played it before. How long was that? That was about 2-3 years ago, wasn't it? So.
We've done it twice. The first time we did it, they had us, I don't think we were headlining. We were really late, but we were on the second stage, and we were kind of bummed out, that we weren't on the main stage. We were on the second stage, and it was one of the most amazing shows that we've ever had as a band. Right. Just something clicked. It was like the planets lined up. Everyone was just, everyone was there. We were in the parking lot, but it was such a phenomenal show. And then I guess they asked us back 2 years ago. I think it was in 2011. And we went and we played on the main stage, and it was just awesome. So we really, really look forward to it again.
Cool, that's awesome. So yeah, I can't wait. I'm going to try to be up there for all 3 days. So that's going to be awesome. So now I noticed Blackout the Sun, of course, is just been released this past Tuesday. It's a great album. I love it. So how's the other?
Thank you.
No problem. You're totally welcome. So how's the fan reaction been so far to this album?
Fan reaction has been nothing short of amazing. I think it was kind of the perfect storm in a lot of ways. We've been away for a while, so we could have, in our fans' defense, I'll just go ahead and say, they've been chomping at the bit for doing music for so long that, we could have put out an average record, and I still think they would have been so excited to get it. But just reading the comments is what really, brings it all home, because it means as much to them as it means to us. It's a very special record to us, I'm not going to lie. It might have happened kind of quickly. It might have, not been a record that we struggled with, but for a lot of reasons, I think that's why it's one of our personal favorites. So, just seeing all the response to it has been nothing short of amazing. They're predicting sales way higher than we were ever hoping for. So, it's been great. It's exciting. It's kind of weird in our world though, because this record to us, even though it's new, it's not brand new because we've been sitting on it for practically 7 months at this point. So it's almost a relief. It's like, finally, let's get going with this. But it's cool. It's cool.
Right. Yeah, that's awesome. So yeah, talking about the fans real fast, I noticed y'all got a big fan, base. And how does it feel when people are posting pics of them actually picking up the album instead of downloading from iTunes and so forth? But how does it feel to have people going out there? I even saw a pic on y'all's page where a mother dropped off the new CD to her son at school. Now that's die hard, that's awesome. So how does it feel to have them fans react like that too, though?
Absolutely amazing. It's just so cool. The first day, I'm pretty, on top of the social, media and stuff like that. I usually spend, I get up in the morning, either, get my breakfast, get my day going. I usually start by going through all my emails first, because that's usually the easiest thing to do. And then I usually hit over on Facebook and hit Twitter, and I swear, we just sat on Facebook for the better part of 2 hours, not even being able to respond because there was so much that was on the timelines, just liking things and then giving a general one big overall thank you to everyone, because it was, I'd still be there today, I had to have help. I was like, okay, you guys got to help me go through this stuff because there's so many of them. I mean, the pictures, it's over the top. It's so cool though, you know, when you hit photos now, all you see is the cover of the album.
Yeah, that's awesome, because I noticed that on your page, and as far as the Sevendust page, I noticed it a lot. Since Tuesday hit, bam, 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 I see nothing but covers posted. And
that's it. I'm telling you, the whole thing. Just click on photos under my picture, and it's hysterical. It's either pictures of people getting their album signed with us at the shows, or it's pictures of the album. So, wow. You know, it's cool, man. We're truly blessed.
That's awesome. So on Black Out the Sun, did y'all take a different approach writing this album than previous albums, or basically? Totally.
Yeah, we went about it a way that we'd never tried before. You know, it's kind of rolling the dice the way that we were going to do it. We knew that we needed to take a really long break. We knew we needed to take a break from, you know, touring Sevendust, from recording. We needed to just give the Sevendust name a break, because it never had one. You know, most bands take breaks. You know, most bands go out there, they do an album cycle, you know, 2 or 3 of those, and then they'll take a break. You know, not really we're not getting back together or anything like that, you know. I mean, some people call them hiatuses, you know. We're just going to kind of hit the pause button, but we've never even just taken let's take 2 or 3 months, you know, away from each other. So we took a year off. You know, we took a year off and we did a bunch of other things. We stayed active, you know. I mean, LeJean guest sang on a handful of things. I did the projected record. You know, Morgan and Clint went and did the Call Me No One record. So for Sevendust, we were definitely engaged. We just weren't engaged as a band.
Right.
So, you know, we took a whole year off, said, okay, let's go in the studio, and instead of going in the studio with a bunch of material that we've already got kind of demoed out, thought out, let's just go in there with nothing and write together, all on the spot, and let's see, you know, if we can just get in there and be productive. Right. And I think it was just the perfect order of things. You know, we've been away from each other for so long, but that by the time we got back to seeing each other, we were excited. We'd missed it. You know, I mean, it's sometimes it's hard when you're in Sevendust to really get a full appreciation until you kind of take it away from yourself and you put it on the shelf, and then, you know, I'm telling you, we were 6 months in, we were chomping at the bit. We were like, we got to get in the studio. This is nuts, you know. So it just happened so naturally. But yeah, it was exciting because, you know, you write a song on a Monday, you had no idea what was coming on Tuesday because you hadn't written it yet.
Right.
You know, so every day was like opening a new present, you know, like Christmas.
Yeah.
You know, just unwrapping the paper and go, wow, this one's cool too. Check this out. So
wow, that's
it was a pretty awesome way to do it. You know, I mean, we've made so many different records in so many different ways over the years. You know, all of us have been in a million different studio environments, and, you know, contrary to what most people would tell you, most people say, oh, you go in, you do a lot of pre-production, you really get super prepared. There was something really cool about just being spontaneous in the studio with each other, you know. So that's basically what we did. You know, we did it together on the spot.
Right. That's awesome. So now on this album, is there a song that you feel more closer to than other songs on the album, or, you know, maybe you feel more meaning to you as being a part of this? So anyway, is there any song off the album that you feel closer to than others?
I don't know, man. I think it changes. You know, I mean, I got a personal favorite that, you know, just it always kind of floats around. But the two that I think, you know, mean the most to me as far as just the epitome of what Sevendust is, are sounds. You know, if you had to pick just like a basic sound, I think the bookends. I think Murder Bar is the epitome of just Sevendust. That is almost as Sevendust as you could get. But it's all like Faithless, I think, is the possibility of where Sevendust could go. You know, it's a fairly epic song, a little bit, you know, more involved. It's not Enemy. You know, it's all like Denial or Praise. It's real straightforward.
Right.
So those two songs for me, I think, you know, show the beginning and kind of show where we're moving forward. You know, but it's all like Got a Feeling. I think that's just a personal favorite of the band's because it was just something that we wanted to do for fun. You know, let's see what this does. Let's get everybody in the band singing on a song for the first time, and let's just build a really lopsided, awkward, very, very broken down song and make it huge. You know, so Got a Feeling is going to be a really cool live song when we start doing it.
Right, cool. That's awesome, because I know I picked up the CD Tuesday, and it's awesome. And then what really, you know, like for my song, whatever, I mean, just kind of grabbed my attention was Till Death. So I really love that song.
Oh, nice, nice. Yeah. That's kind of an old school throwback too. Right. That's our Pantera, our Pantera heritage coming back out.
That's awesome. Yeah, so I know you something with that. As soon as you all start playing it, I was like on the album, it just starts playing. I'm like, wow, this is freaking awesome. So I love it.
Yeah.
So
that's cool. Yeah, I mean, the nice thing about the record is it's got a lot of metal moments, it's got a lot of mellow moments, and it's got a lot of rock and roll moments in between. You know, we never set out to say, okay, this is going to be the heaviest Sevendust record we ever made, because it's cool to have the heaviest record ever, but it's also cool to have the coolest record ever. You know, I don't think Animosity was the heaviest record we ever did, but it's one of our fan favorites. You know, and it's one of our favorites too. We like the dynamic. We love to be a metal band, but at the same time, to have the ability to let LJ really, really sing over something really, really, small, cool, and beautiful is it's a gift, and we take full advantage of all the resources that we have, for sure.
Right, cool, awesome. So now, if someone hasn't had a chance to listen to the new album yet, what can they expect to hear from this album?
I think it is maybe in some ways the most Sevendust record you could possibly get, because it was the original 5 guys in the band doing it the way that we did it in the beginning, which was to get in a room and basically just start making noise. We're musicians. We don't know where we're going sometimes. Sometimes like fishing. You grab a guitar, same way you grab a fishing rod and throw the rod in the water. You got your line out there and you sit there all day and you don't get anything. Right. On those great days you get, you're pulling them out as fast as you can, get your line in the water. That's the same way with a guitar. I mean, it's difficult to explain to people who don't understand music, but when you're on it, you're on it. And when you put 5 of us in a room, there's a really, really good chance that at least three of the 5 are going to be cat pulling stuff out. And when people are catching stuff, the other guys who aren't catching stuff get super excited. So it's just the coolest experience, because some days, you just go in there and you're like, I got a killer idea, and you start playing and everybody starts vibing off it, and then you're off and running. And other days, you're just like, man, I'm really feeling down today. And Clint will play the most insane riff, and 5 hours later, we have the best song on the record, So it's a pleasure to be in a band where it doesn't all rely on one guy for more than, 10, 15 minutes. I mean, we pull each other through, but this record is the essence of what we are as a band. It covers, I think, the heaviest moments. I think it covers the most introspective and personal and mellow moments too.
Mm-hmm. Right. Awesome. So I noticed that the single Decay has been #1 in 4 weeks and on Biggins. And how does that feel? And also I noticed too that since it's been released on iTunes, your all's album Blackout the Sun is #8 already. So how does that feel?
Oh yeah.
How does that feel?
That feels awesome, man. I mean, it feels absolutely amazing. Especially when you're talking about, the album on iTunes. You sit there and you look at the traffic that we're in the company of. We're not getting compared to, Machine Head and Metallica records here. We're getting compared to Justin Timberlake and, Lil Wayne and stuff. I'm like, wait a minute, what's going on here? So it's cool, I'm a big Pink fan, and we went one position higher than her on iTunes, and I was like, nice, cool, it's nice company to be in, especially being that we're mostly more of a rock metal band, we live in active rock mostly, and that's kind of where we, where the essence of what we are is, but it's nice to be up in the mix with a lot of other people, and, just seeing how cool the reaction is to everything, most people know us by now because we've been around, and they go, oh yeah, okay, cool, the Sevendust record.
Right.
But it's been a minute, so the excitement is it's off the hook, and it's great. And the reaction at Decay has been nothing short of amazing too. The response has been phenomenal. So we're having a really, really good time with it.
Right, that's awesome. The song Decay, it premiered Tuesday as a video, so it was awesome video. I watched like 10 times in that Tuesday when it was.
Oh, nice.
So how did the concept for that video come about anyway? I noticed like everything like as far as being in the old house and stuff like that. How did that concept for the video come about?
Well, John had been talking about doing something that was kind of like in a haunted house, not really with any kind of an idea or theme on how to go about it, but he kind of had the initial vision of, like, this should be somewhere kind of creepy or somewhere that, you might not want to be hanging out in. in Davenport, Iowa. And, you know, he kind of pitched this concept of, you know, us basically, you know, confronting, I guess, in some ways, our vices or our fears and things like that, you know, and each one had a slightly different thing. I mean, you know, Clint's childhood self, you know, drives him in a tub, and Vinny's crazy. He's running around in a straitjacket. And I get the shit kicked out of me for some reason or another, but then I guess I get the upper hand because I kill the guys.
Right.
And Morgan makes a porno with 5 girls. So.
That was that. He got the good part, one of the good parts. So that's awesome.
But yeah, I mean, it was a lot of fun to do. You know, it was cool. And at the end of the day, I think it fucking just turned out. Visually, it looks great. You know, I think David did a great job on putting it together. So.
That's awesome. So now, Seven Brothers is y'all's own label, ain't it? Is that right?
That's right.
Yep.
That is us.
So how does it feel to have y'all's own label anyway?
I mean, it's cool. You know, it's like, you know, you fight your whole career to get a record deal when you're unsigned, when you're a brand new band. And then once you release the first record, you spend the whole rest of your career trying to get off the deal.
Right.
So it's cool because everything's done on a slightly smaller scale. I mean, obviously, you know, we don't have an enormous staff of people that work for Seven Brothers directly, but we have people that work for the band. And being that the band technically is a label, then technically we have a staff. So we have our resources very high and tight. You know, basically what we carry on the road, management, you know, a few people doing business management and accounting, and that's it. You know, I mean, we're accountable to ourselves, and we kind of pick and choose how we approach things, and we're social media nuts, you know. So I figure between the 5 of us, you know, just getting out there and staying engaged with our fan base, it's one of the coolest situations you could have because you don't have to, you know, you're not looking at you know, a standard deal. We had a standard deal, and it was great, and they pushed us and everything. But at the end of the day, the band is never really set up to make money. You know, the label's set up to make a lot of money, and the band's not set up to make much. And that's just kind of the nature of the way that those deals are. But when you have your own deal, you know, you might sell 3/4 as many records as you would if you would sign with a bigger label, but you get to keep 3/4 more of the money. So it makes a lot of sense if you can do it on your own, because basically a label is what you make it. You know, we have a radio department, we have a publicist, we have the band on tour, and then we have people basically to kind of watch the numbers in the books. Beyond that, you know, it's all about personal relationships. So if you can get your own scenario, you know, for a young band, if you can find some people to surround yourself with and start your own little deal, you know, there's plenty of distribution companies that will take you and run you around with it, you know. But yeah, having your own thing gives you a lot of options for sure.
Right, cool. Yeah, that's awesome. So now y'all been a band for years that I can remember. So how do you feel the music industry has changed since y'all been a band?
A lot. I think the demand for music is more so than ever. I think people get it in different ways. I don't think as many people pay for it as they used to. It's a shame. But the thing is, the artist usually is a little bit ahead of the curve. You know what I mean? The artist always has the ability to find ways to be able to pay the bills, you know, whether it be out of merchandising or, you know, VIP experiences and things like that. But I think there's you know, it's just the delivery system has changed. You know, when we first started, hell, we've been around so long. When we first started, there were cassettes.
Yeah.
We had the first 2 records released on cassette, and then, you know, obviously we get through CDs, and now CDs are pretty passe. Most people are all into MP3s and, you know, streaming and Spotify and, you know, stuff like that. So I think, and I don't know, just looking at numbers, you know, there's so many more people that want to hear the music and want to see your show. I think the access to the world is a lot easier than it used to be with all the social media, you know, the network stuff. I mean, it used to be, you know, we didn't have chats with people in Australia, and I've got, you know, probably 50 to 60 people over in Australia and New Zealand that, you know, I'm in touch with every week just off Facebook or Instagram, you know, things like that. So it's changed enormously. I think the computer has given, you know, at first everyone was all bummed out about the downloading. And then you got to look at it as what the opportunity is instead. You know, yeah, people are taking your music, but you could be a brand new band and set up a YouTube channel and shoot a video and have your video seen by everybody on earth who wants to tune into that video. You know, it's just up to you to get them there.
Right.
We never had that 20 years ago. That wasn't an option.
Mm-hmm.
So today, to think about what the reach potential is for a brand new band it's mind-blowing. All you got to have is a great song. And if you can get a great song with a good video out there, you know, I mean, it's so cool how much power the artist really has, but a lot of people don't see it that way. So
right.
I think it's 20 years of evolution that's been it's benefited the artist for sure. You know, downloading, like I said, sure, but beyond that, if you look at all the potential upsides that the computer brings along with it, you know, it's a gift.
Right. Awesome. So that's why a big smile came on my face Tuesday and yesterday when people start posting pics of the actual CD. They actually went out and got it. I was sitting there going, wow. And this day in this industry now, like you said, you know, everybody's going to the, you know, getting them out of iTunes and all that, which is cool and all that. But these people are actually getting out there and buying a physical copy, which is awesome because that's, you know.
It is. It's cool, you know. I mean, it's evolved to a point where you don't necessarily need it, but it's still something cool because you can't sign. Well, you can sign someone's iPod, but how many bands are going to be able to sign an iPod? You know what I mean? You know, so it's cool especially for those diehards. I mean, we got a lot of fans who, you know, downloaded it and then went and bought the physical just because they want to get an autographed copy. You know, so they're helping us out by buying 2 copies of this, and it's just like, oh man, you know, for whatever reason you're picking it up, it's so cool to see that many CDs still out there.
Right. That's awesome. Yeah, like I mentioned earlier, you all got a big fan base, and I mean, that's one of the biggest fan bases y'all got that I've seen in a while. So it's awesome. So, what was your inspiration like when you was younger to being a musician anyway? So, to be a
Kiss, I Kiss a lot too. Seeing that album cover, I just saw it. I opened it up, saw the whole show, all the fire and pyro, and I was like, whoa. I mean, you know, when you're a kid, you're like, this is amazing. You know, I hadn't even heard the music, and I wanted to do whatever that was.
Right.
You know, I was just like, wow, this is cool.
Right.
That was probably my introduction to it, but, you know, after that, I think Van Halen kind of sealed the deal when I got Van Halen 1, and I was a drummer, but I was so confused as what was going on with Eruption. I was like, hang on a second. You know, I'm calling my guitar player buddies going, have you heard this Eruption thing? They're all like, yeah, we don't know what it is. You know,
right.
I think that was probably the first band that ever really said, okay, there's potential to change the world with this as well. You know, you can do it on a visual level, you can do it on a musical level. When I really got serious about it, I was all about Metallica and Pantera.
Right.
But I was always a Journey fan. You know, I always appreciate the melody. And I think everybody in that band has that unique thing where we're all kind of metalheads, but we all love Depeche Mode and 9 Inch Nails too. You know what I mean? We're not drawing a line in the sand going, okay, it's Slayer and only Slayer. So I think that's what, you know, kind of contributes to the way we sound. You know, we're kind of all over the map, but in our minds, it's just natural. You know, it's cool to like a Metallica record and to like a Journey record. There's nothing wrong with that. Right,
exactly. So what do you think is some of your biggest challenges to overcome being a musician in today's industry anyway? Some of your challenges?
On a personal level, just the time away from home, you know, distance. You know, once you've got a wife and you've got children and things like that, that's the sacrifice. I mean, that's the toughest thing during a day that we typically have to deal with, you know what I mean? Finding a place to get your laundry done, you know, that's not necessarily the end of the world, you know what I mean?
Right.
But it's the distance, you know, I think that's the biggest sacrifice. But aside from that, I think just from a business perspective, just finding a way to actually make it work and not give it all away. Because it's real easy when people start plugging percentages and stuff into your deals. You know, your manager wants X amount and your agent wants X amount, and, you know, your accountant has to get paid, and then you got to pay taxes. And at the end of the day, you sit there and look at it and go, oh, great, man, we sold all these records, had all these songs played all over radio, and we owe money.
Right.
You know, so I think that's the biggest challenge is there's still an edge to the suits and the powers that be that kind of, I don't want to say run the ship, but, you know, the ones who are more going to be calling most of the shots, you know. I think that's the biggest challenge a lot of bands have is they just, you know, when you're blindly plugging numbers in, you don't know if they're going to work until you go through it and you either make it work or you don't, you know. And successful hit bands don't have to worry about it. You know, if you have a number one song and you got a really, really big selling record, you know, you're not worried about the you know, maybe you're paying too much because you're getting money. But at the end of the day, you know, for hard-working bands, that can be a struggle, you know. So I think that's probably the biggest challenge for those bands who aren't omega huge, the ones who kind of just exist in the middle, you know, just finding a way to, you know, to not be doing it for free or to be paying somebody else for you to be spending all that time away from home. Exactly. I mean, 20 years ago when we were kicking it, you know, none of us were married, none of us had kids, and we didn't have a care in the world, you know. It was party, you know, 24/7, you know, we're doing 30-minute shows and having a great time, and now we're playing 90-minute sets. We all have families, and we're 20 years older, so, you know, there's a certain amount of, you know, taking care of yourself that you have to get back into the equation. Right. But you got to do it on a financial level, too. You can't just do it on a physical. So I see a lot of bands that come out, and, you know, they're just spending money like crazy. I'm like, bands, you don't know how long this is going to last.
Right, exactly. So with that being said, what makes the hard work pay off in the end after all? So all that being said,
opening up your Facebook page and seeing all those albums on there and seeing all the cool things that everyone has to say about it. You know, meeting the fans at the shows that are just beaming over your new record. You know, I mean, it's like having a child, and we've been in the house for, you know, the past 5-6 months, taking care of baby, and now all of a sudden we're showing it to the world, and seeing that response to it, you know, it's just, that makes it all worthwhile. Because at the end of the day, it's a sacrifice to be away from the ones that you love, but to see how much of an effect that you have on, you know, what might be a complete stranger up to a certain point until you meet them, you know, it's cool. It's really cool to be able to have the power to give people something to be happy about, you know?
Right, exactly. Totally agree. That's awesome. So is there any advice you give younger musicians or even the bands out there that's just getting started in today's industry?
Practice, and play as many times as you can. You know, because obviously sitting in a room and, you know, doing what you do is one thing, but it's different when you do it in front of people. I mean, we purposely don't rehearse a ton as Sevendust, only because unless you're really doing it, you know, live with Sevendust, you're kind of just going through the motions. Like we can at least assign parts, do things like that. But once you get past that, you know, I think it's important to play in front of people. You know, whether it be, you know, you sitting on a stool playing in front of people, or whether you're jumping off a riser playing in front of people, you have a different response and reaction when you play in front of folks. Plus, you better your chances of people knowing about you. So, you know, every chance you get to play a show, you know, you figure, oh, there's only 100 people at the show, but if, you know, 3 people out of those 100 people happen to mention your name to the right person, you just never know.
Right.
You know, we got signed seriously at a show that had about 200 people at it.
Oh, wow.
And they just happened to be in the right place at the right time. So, you know, I'm speaking from experience here. You got to play live. I mean, we didn't even want to do that show because it was a whole industry thing that was happening in town. We almost canceled the show, and we didn't because we needed the money to pay the rent for the rehearsal room. So, and here we are, you know, 20 years later. So,
awesome.
play as much as you can.
Right, exactly. That, and like you mentioned earlier, don't spend no money. Don't spend no money.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. Don't give your manager all of your cash. Right. It's all possible.
So, now, is there any pre-rituals you got to do before getting on stage or anything like that before you hit the stage? Any pre-rituals?
We always pray, and so we have a little group prayer. You know, John usually leads the prayer. You know, we always do that. We always take a few pictures, you know, kind of show everyone that we're about ready to come out there and do it. And, you know, that's kind of our thing. Everyone's got their little thing. LJ's got a little warm-up thing. I got a little thing that I do, a little stretching. But, yeah, the prayer and the pictures are the big ones, I guess.
Right. Cool. That's awesome. So if someone hasn't got to see Sevendust live yet, which they should already, but if they haven't yet, if you only had 3 words to describe Sevendust live, what 3 words would they be?
Lots of energy.
Awesome. Yeah, awesome. I saw y'all last year up here at Covington, Kentucky, and it was phenomenal. It was awesome. So
nice. Very cool, man.
I can't wait for y'all to come back around here, Cincinnati. And like I said, I'll try to catch you all up there in Columbus at Rock on the Range, so that's really awesome. So what's in store for Sevendust throughout the summer and fall for the rest of the year? pretty much?
I don't know. I mean, we're going to be on one of the summer tours, and they're still debating over which one it's going to end up being. They haven't nailed it down yet. They are working on it as we speak, and hopefully we'll know within the next week or so.
Right.
But I mean, yeah, with a new record, we're going to be touring somewhere. I just don't know where.
Oh.
You know, I know all the way up until they're putting together some of the dates in July, but like I said, that butts up to, you know, whether we do an Uproar or whether we do a Carnival of Madness or something like that. So
nice. That's awesome. So what all sites can listeners find Sevendust at? What all the sites?
I'm sorry, I missed that.
What all sites can listeners find Sevendust at? You know, like Facebook and what else?
We're on Facebook, we're on Twitter. All of us are on Twitter, actually. Every one of us individually is on Twitter. We're on Instagram. I think that's pretty much it at the moment.
Mm-hmm.
I know we've got a couple other, you know, smaller sites, and I believe we still have a MySpace page, even though I haven't been on there in a million years. But other than that, and the website at www.sevendust.com, that's pretty much where we're, you know, home basing it. Most of us are kind of basing it off Facebook for the time being, though. We have the most activity going on over there at the moment. And if you see someone who's actually posting on the Sevendust wall right now, yeah, it's probably us. Other than like a specific tour date or things like that.
Right.
Most of the stuff that we're doing, we're going on there at least 3 or 4 times a day, kind of scanning over the page. So, you know, we're on there.
Right. That's awesome. So where can people find the Blackout the Sun CD if they haven't got no internet or whatever? Is it in store? Where's all stores and where can the people find that CD?
Well, I'd like to say you can find it at Best Buy, but I think most of them have sold out the first day.
Wow.
So they're all waiting for product to come back in. They've got it in their warehouse, so it's usually a pretty quick turnaround for them. But pretty much everywhere, anywhere that you can find it. You know, the mom and pop stores all have it. Targets are going to have it. Walmart's going to have it. It's an explicit free record this time around. There's no there's no X-rated, R-rated version of it. So it's a clean record, believe it or not. And I don't know how that happened, but it did. You know, not one F-bomb, no 4-letter word. So we got lucky. So anywhere that they sell music, you'll be able to buy this record.
Wow, that's cool. That's awesome. So I got one more question. I'll let you go. So what does music mean to you?
Everything. I mean, I couldn't imagine life without it. You know, it's like, for me, it's, you know, even on my worst day, I'm still listening to it, or I'm still kind of checking in on, you know, I might not be physically playing or hearing it, but I might be engaged in, you know, conversations that, you know, I'm having with other guys in other bands. So, I mean, for me, my entire life it is me. You know, it is what we do. It's the essence of what makes up every one of us in the band. But, yeah, I mean, it's everything. I mean, we're fans of it. We love it. We go to shows. And to be able to do what you absolutely love to do for a living is a gift. It's cool.
Right. Awesome. I totally agree. So I'll let you go, but I just want to say thank you so much for calling in and giving me time to talk to you for a while about the new album and so forth, what's happening with Sevendust. But I just want to say thank you so much.
No problem. My pleasure, my friend.
All right, thank you.
Hey, this is John from Sevendust, and you're listening to Rockstars Blues Radio.
Voices I hear